recording back at it. Got a few things for you guys. This will be a regular episode. It's not going to be a subcast, but it might be just a little bit shorter because I think, as Tyler said one day, life and things going on and different stuff. So hadn't been able to get in the house over here to record as much. I hear my dog bouncing around the door over here. Let's see if you want in or out. Oh, you two are playing with each other? Are you guys going to be loud in here too? Because we could hear you guys last time. I could hear you last time. Alright, so they're probably going to go back out. Alright, so we'll leave them out there. But so if you're listening to the audio version, not the video version, so if you hear some bouncing around by the door and doing stuff, it's the dogs, the part of our mascots bouncing around outside the door there. But lots of different things going on. I'm going to gloss over that really quick and just also let you know that got a few other things for you guys. Looking again toward recording some things. It's working. Okay. So we're good there. That probably sounded really great because we were both looking over the mic. Email. If you want to email us with something, you got a question, want to hit us with something. Cerberus Wrestling, okay? CERBRUSWR.
So you're saying Cerberus now?
Cerberus. You got me all messed up with that. Cerberus Wrestling, but when I spell it, for some reason I go Cerberus.
I guess it's the C instead of the S. Yeah.
I know. Cerberus Wrestling is what I call it, and then I said Cerberus when I went to spell it. But Cerberus Wrestling, we've got the banner, CerebrusWrestling@gmail.com.
Very simple.
Also, everything is the same way. Facebook page, Cerberus Wrestling. Go find it, like it, follow it, whatever you gotta do there. And also the Instagram page is linked to it. I got all that set up, so we got the Cerberus Wrestling on Instagram. Go follow that as well. Here shortly, I will probably take a picture, do our little selfie thing since we're twins in and out today. But I'm gonna post something saying that the episode will be up because we've got to run right after we record this, so I will get all this posted up today. But I will go ahead and post on the Instagram page and say, hey, episode coming today. Things on the docket, other than mentioning our stuff that we got out there, different places with social media, Facebook, Instagram. I mentioned Twitter. I hadn't set up a Twitter account yet just because it's the one I use the least, although I do know a lot of people do like Twitter. We might get into that. But this whole recording and doing everything in social media, I was talking to somebody else about it. This is a hobby and a fun thing for us, but it can take over time-wise. I was just listening to something else about microphones too, and they were talking about things, and it's kind of funny enough. The guest room here, they're like, a room with a bed or blankets and all that actually helps with the sound with different mics and different things like that. Right now, we're still using our wide range mic that records both of us instead of our other one that might be more. I might use that one more when I'm individually when I'm by myself. We haven't really set up a dual mic system like Coach Tyler has when he goes out and does his recordings. But we're working on all those type of things. It's all fun, but
it's a hobby that's kind of like a job. I joke about it.
It does take over a little bit. So we're trying to get everything out there, trying to do it all right. But we really wanted to record this episode together too, and we're gonna go ahead and get right on into it. I'm gonna hit the coaching thing first, before we get into the other, because it also kind of has to do with coaching. But haven't heard anything yet on who's gonna get the SDSU program, and I'm not even sure who they're looking at yet, really. So that really isn't telling you guys much. But I think there's some names in there that I've heard thrown out. I've got to go listen to another thing. Morningstar is a name I've heard from Iowa. Another name I actually heard that I was like, wow, he'd be leaving an assistant role, but it would be Tony Ramos. I think that'd be it. Yeah, I heard that name thrown out there. So lots of speculation, lots of names being thrown out. Really cool to hear good names and being thrown out, because I do think that everybody is in agreement that they want this program to keep going. The AD and athletic director over there is still 100% on board, and somebody can still ride that bandwagon. So I'm really happy for that. I'm really excited to see, almost more so since Bono got the position, which I hoped Askren was going to get, but I'm almost more excited now to see who's going to take this young program and do kind of like what we talked about and say, hey, it's not Big Ten, but it's an up-and-coming program, and we want to continue to ride this wave and go someplace big with it. That also being said, saw an interview with Bono about Wisconsin, and he looks 100% ready to take those reins, which I knew he would be. He's going he looks excited to be in the Big Ten. It's not that he wasn't excited at SDSU, but he does just look ready to tackle Big Tens and, as he said, take Wisconsin back to a level. They had Wick and some other people that were, he was scouting because they were going to be wrestling against, which was funny at NCAA's. But now he's there with those guys, and as much as I hate to see good coaches leave small programs or smaller programs, because I really want to see the wealth spread, which it has been. I am excited to see him at Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, I am too. And I think that Michigan improved it this year, as far as if you're not Iowa, Penn State, or Ohio State, you can have a name in Big Tens. Just in general, I mean, Michigan kind of flew under the radar. They brought back some All-Americans. They had some guys that may not have been world beaters at first, but look where they ended up at the end of the season. And maybe Bono saw that, and maybe he's thinking he could do that with Wisconsin, and he 100% can. It's like with football in the SEC. You get if you're a high school kid and you're getting looked at by an SEC school, you're more than likely going to go. Let's see if we can get this.
That way, yep.
And but yeah, you're more than likely to go to the SEC school, and that's how it is with wrestling in Big Ten. And then you're talking about South Dakota. We're going to SDSU. The two names that you're talking about Morningstar, and then you're talking about Ramos from North Carolina. I'm a little
Iowa.
Yeah. And you're talking about when you said Ramos, I wonder if he will take it only because of Ethan Ramos from North Carolina, since they're kind of both there together.
Yeah.
I wonder if that will play a factor.
Who knows? Not sure. I mean, are they related actually? I mean, are they brothers or?
I thought they were like cousins or something.
Cousins, okay, because I didn't know.
I
thought he was the youngest of like some brothers. I mean, he had older brothers, but I didn't think he had a younger brother.
I thought they were like cousins or something.
Okay, so I mean, the name Ramos. I mean, it's not
very common.
Not very common, but it's not super uncommon. Apparently. So, but yeah, no, that's definitely a great thing. Like
Now, if I'm wrong, then I could see him go to SDSU. But no, I'm pretty sure they're cousins. I could be wrong. Yeah. Hold on, I'll look that up.
All right, check it out. Which will lead right into our next thing while he's looking that up. But yeah, I'd like to. I don't know. I've always been a Ramos fan. I mean, I've always been a Tony Ramos since he was at Iowa. Love the stare. Some of the stuff that they've had on Flow lately has been really fun with him, and just listening to him talk is really cool. So to see him at the helm of a program, I think would be neat. And he mentioned something else too that about coaching that I thought was a very interesting thing. He was talking about legacy and legends and all that kind of stuff like that. And some people say to go out while you're on top. He said he kind of liked the Kale philosophy of like, I don't mind going out not on top, knowing that I went out with my head in the sand because I broke, giving it all I had. And I thought that was a cool analogy. But then he also said, somebody said, well, what kind of legacy do you want? Don't you want a legacy like Jordan Burroughs where everybody remembers you for everything that you've done? Or, he was like, well, what about Cael Sanderson? Cael Sanderson was one of the greats in wrestling. Obviously undefeated, 4-time NCAA champ, and then went off and did, gold medal at the senior level as well. But he's almost now better known for his coaching because of everything that he's done, which is not to say that he says it's not to say that people forget about it, which I almost disagree. I think some people do forget about the accolades that he acquired while wrestling because of his accolades he's now acquiring as a coach. So the legacy thing is very interesting. So I could see him taking that role because I think he's still competitive and wants to compete, but I think he's also a very forward-thinking person and is looking at future possible other legacies other than his on-the-mat legacy, which I think is great open-mindedness and takes a lot for somebody to do that. Okay, but I kind of told him what I want to talk about, but I'm very curious to see what Coach Hodge said because he'd almost sold his stock on DeSanto already. He was like, he's out the door, but mentioned it on the Instagram page and on the Facebook page. If you hadn't seen it already, he got a full release from Drexel.
Yeah.
All right. So he is basically a free agent, and big names are looking at him. Like names on the list: Iowa, Penn State.
Nebraska, I think.
Nebraska. Somebody mentioned Rutgers.
Rutgers, that'd be a cool one.
Oh my goodness! Like, so the names are out there to possibly pick him up. So you sold your stock on him. Would you take, as a coach now, because this is where I want
it's completely different.
Would you take DeSanto, or would you go after him, or who do you think you should go to? Any of those questions, whatever you want to.
100%. It's a completely different story about would I take him versus my stock being sold on him as a fan. if I was a coach for Iowa, I would say no because I don't think he can handle the room. Just plain and simple. And he could grow into it. I don't know.
That's true because
but,
the way he's acted is
he-
off of losses.
He's not very good at
Excuse me, I've got dust
beat up.
everywhere from stuff being
And
cut out
then-
of walls.
But then anyone outside of that, like the Penn States or the which Penn State needs someone his size. They lack in those lower weight classes. So but if
One of the reports I said was Kale's already called him or visited him or something.
Penn State would be a good one. I would pick him up because regardless of his actions and his unforgivable as I thought that was, he's still a good wrestler. He really you can't take that away.
Yeah,
He beat
he's
Spencer
good.
Lee in high school, which is everyone can argue Spencer Lee had a torn ACL.
Jamal Hollis won it with a torn ACL.
Yeah,
But
I mean Lee is a freak, and so I would still take him if I was anyone other than Iowa. Rutgers, I would take him if I was Rutgers. Just imagine him and Soriano in the room.
yeah,
going at it.
Somebody mentioned something like, imagine a three would go between Willie posted something, Soriano, DeSanto,
Yeah.
and somebody else.
Yeah.
He was like, it looked more like a street brawl
It would.
than an actual match,
It
which I
probably
thought was
would.
funny. I was like, dude, that would be, again, fly on the wall.
I wonder
Forget that.
if-
I just want to be in the room watching. I think that'd be hilarious to see.
Quick little, theory here. What do you think that Bono's looking at him? Maybe it's his first big move of
Wisconsin, yeah, because also I want to say that for some reason on all the different, just scrolling through the internet looking at things, I saw that SDSU was interested in him, but then I was like really confused because how can SDSU be looking at him when they don't have a coach right now? I was like, who's looking at him then?
Yeah.
So was it Bono possibly or something like that? I was gonna say I agree with you 100%. I say anybody looking for a 133 pounder
needs him.
would look at him. I don't
Yeah.
see why you wouldn't look at him. Again, whereas I agree that his actions were 100% in the wrong, and I want to say they were unforgivable, even though I was forgiving him because of
yeah.
age, this, that, the whole gamut of what's going on in his life. I don't know. I was not saying that this was. If it was a trend that continued, then I would be out on him.
Yeah.
If this is something that's just
It was a one-time deal.
it kind of was. It was the end of
Yeah.
the season deal.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. It's something we saw coming here all at that. Not to say we saw it coming, but
Yeah.
like him yelling at his coaches. He was chippy in the conference tournament.
I forgot
His end
about
of his
that
season. His end of his season was
Yeah.
kind of like there's something going on, and I'm trying to go off the thing of I
Maybe
don't
he's
know.
unhappy there.
I don't know what's going on. At the same time, like when they say they gave him a full release, did they give him a full release, or did they kind of talk to him and say, "Hey, you might need to go someplace because
Yeah.
this isn't working"?
'Cause,
So
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a mutual thing. It's got to be if they gave him the full release, but I don't know how much of it is. Hey, you need to look for someplace else, or there's going to be major consequences, and we have to deal with stuff while you're here because this isn't going to fly.
Yeah.
And if it's not working right now, then we will give you the full release if you want it. So maybe then I don't know. I find it an interesting,
Yeah.
an interesting situation. But I do agree with you, and I was wondering what you would say because I was going to say yes, you pick somebody like that up, and sometimes going someplace new is all it takes to rejuvenate and give somebody a second chance. Because our man from SDSU, Seth Gross,
Yep.
if people don't know his back history, was a great high school wrestler. He was at Iowa. He got in a lot of trouble at Iowa. Things happened. We thought it was going to be the end of his career. He ended up being, in that case, it wasn't a full release. I think it was dismissal type
Yeah.
thing from the university, all that stuff. So, and then he turned his life around, really got with it, relies heavily on God, is very adamant about that now with the shirts and everything, which is great. But you can see a transformation and a
Yeah.
change. And as much as some people might say, yeah, DeSanto needs some Jesus in his life, I'm not saying that's, he very well could, but I think a change would be good
he
for
would.
him, and it might be what's needed so that we can get to see the DeSantos of, like, let it all
Yeah,
fly, but know that,
Because he's a funky kid when he
yeah,
gets in there.
and
He's
but know that, hey, we got to fix what's going on with you, man,
Yeah.
and help you out, and, sometimes that new place. So
I think,
I hope somebody picks him up. Here's my thoughts on places
Yeah,
to go. As much as you say you don't see Iowa because he couldn't handle the room, maybe that's the type of room that needs to make him handle that situation, though. Like, look, if you can't
Yeah.
handle it, you learn it there. And he could learn it there. Like, there's
Yeah,
going to
but
be
then
no
you're in
pulling
the-
of punches. Like, it's either, that would either be
It would make or break him.
Make or break, exactly. I don't see Rutgers as much as because after looking at things, because I think Soriano would go up to 33. So why would you look for another 33? As crazy as it sounds.
I've got two colleges that I think you'd go to.
Penn State
and Wisconsin. Wisconsin, because I can see it being a big move for Bono, and because, like you said, he was possibly looking at him for SDSU.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was there too. So,
and secondly, Penn State, because Penn State lacks they lack at 25 and they lack at 33. They need a 33.
Yeah, they need those lightweights.
We've talked about that on previous podcasts. So I think it'd be a great.
And then also depending on who you get, brand new coach, brand new situation. Like, look, a place like SDSU might be the place he could go to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, talking about fresh start, fresh coach, fresh everything there. You know, you might have to cut down to 25 if, you know, I mean, because you got Gross for one more year.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to leave. But that's different than a Soriano at 33 for potentially the same amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, you could replace. So
who are your choices, you said?
I would say Penn, Wisconsin, SDSU. I could see him ended up in any of those places like that.
See, we agree on that too.
You know, so, but that's just based off the names we saw. I think Nebraska was thrown out there.
Yeah, Nebraska was thrown out there.
You know, so he could completely, you know, not go that way. He could go a different way. Which,
he could go to Michigan. No, I'm just kidding.
You don't know what's out there at Arizona State. They seem to be. Sertzis came back out there. Sertzis was at 49 or something like that. So I mean, but hey, look, I want to see more. Like I said, the growth of sport. Let people go other places. Head out west, guys, and go hit some of those programs out there. You know, Piccinini just graduated Okie State. Could use.
They've got a hold there now.
And they do and they don't. They got like Fix in the back. Yeah, I mean they got. They got everybody.
You got Fix. I
mean, Okie State always has somebody in the wings, but you know, I mean, but going back out west would be beneficial as well.
Fix is
probably a 25.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought he was a 25er.
I imagine he'd be a 25-pounder. But like, you know, but whoever's in that room, you know, I mean, you know, Okie State's gonna have people in their room. So, but yeah, I would love to see him just go somewhere. I want to see what happens with him. You know, since I didn't sell my stock on him as a fan. My stock on him right now is one of like, I'm hoping the best for the kid.
Yeah.
Like, and
I hope the best for him too. I don't wish.
So I want to. I want to see another turnaround story from him. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
So
it's just I'm not a fan, but I really do, I hope he turns something around. I don't want to see a kid waste such a great opportunity that he has, as talented as he is. So
so I think that'd be really fun. All right, so we're gonna actually I'm gonna throw things on the side a little bit. You know, I think that's our wrestling news for our current wrestling news. Kind of segue into two other things actually. Save the biggest one for last. But next is like, you know, I love UFC. I love fighting. Love all that. Was talking to Jared Scoggins, and then I want to get Justin Scoggins on as well. Both those guys in here. I was hoping to be able to do stuff over the spring break, but with all the stuff I had going on at the house and construction type stuff, couldn't get out.
It's that real life.
Yeah, that real life. But it's been a while since I've actually thought about watching a UFC event, and this weekend happens to be
the one that you wanted to watch.
Yeah, I might want to see that. I might have to, since you'll be out of town, which we'll talk about in a second. I have to hit my brother-in-law up. You know, I want to see the rematch. You know,
JJ and Rose.
JJ and Rose, and then the other headline fight. That sounds like a good one too.
Are you talking about?
I can't never pronounce the one dude's name.
Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Khabib. Yeah.
So
hush.
You heard about it was Khabib and Tony Ferguson.
And then Ferguson with weight cut type stuff.
Yeah.
He
injured his knee. He injured his knee.
Okay, I thought it was weight cutting.
Have you heard how he injured his knee?
No.
Okay, so it's already been said. I'm not saying this. I'm not coming because he's a tough guy. He was walking indoors with sunglasses on, and he tripped over some cables and tore his LCL from the bone. That teaches you do not wear sunglasses indoors because you'll look stupid and you'll hurt yourself.
Anything can happen at any given time. People always have the argument of like, well, I don't want my kid to wrestle. I don't want him to get hurt. Apparently, you can tear something walking indoors with sunglasses.
He tripped over one of those big cables, and the next thing you know, he's out. And now it's going to be Max Holloway jumping up, which I told Shaquan about this. Mm-hmm. If Max Holloway wins, and he wins this 55 interim title because they stripped Ferguson.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this, mark my words. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but mark my words. Conor McGregor will be there because if Holloway wins, it forces McGregor's hand because now you have two-time champs at 45 and 55.
speaking of Shaquan, saw the most recent follow on the Instagram page. Awesome.
Yep.
Hey, leave us a review on iTunes and we'll give you another shout out.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll bring you on the show.
He's actually starting his own little thing too, by the way.
Nice.
So
Get
we'll,
up, man.
we'll
Let
have
us
to
know.
we'll have to shout him out.
You know, we'll shout you out and then we'll bring you on and then you can tell us about it. But leading into the next biggest thing, hey, look, guys, I grew up watching wrestling, not the wrestling we talk about.
This wrestling.
Not this wrestling. I was thinking about changing our logo up, not changing it, but adding the snake head on the tail. The snake, because we already talked about how the three heads represent each of the styles.
Yep.
The snake head could represent like everything else that we talked about, from UFC to WWE. Where you going this weekend, my man?
I am going to Louisiana, New Orleans. I'm going to be at WrestleMania this year. I was going to go last year when it was in Orlando. It's a quicker drive, but me and my friend, I told him, I was like, look,
Hey,
next
Dev,
year,
did you hear that? Where's Tyler going this weekend? Yell it at him.
Yeah, I'm going to WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. We'll watch it. We'll look for him, all right?
Yeah. So we got
Sunday.
I think it starts at like 5.
Yeah, that's the pre-show at 5.
Yeah, it's pre-show at 5. So we made the deal. I said, look, I'm going next year because I missed this last year. I was like, I'm going this year. And this year, I did not think I was going to. I was like, man, it's getting too down to the wire. And one day, we just decided to look at some tickets. We found some great deals. He had a little package deal. And we booked it. So I'm going to Mania, so y'all probably not going to see this lovely mug. It's actually been, between that, that's actually on my personal channel. I hadn't been time to upload videos per se. I've been doing audio only because I've been trying to get stuff ready for this. And I'm working crazy hours, so.
Yeah. He almost slept through this morning's recording.
I did, yeah. I'm not even going to lie. It was like 10 o'clock, and I look at his message, and he's like, hey, can you record at 10? I'm like, oh, it's 10:20.
It's like, yeah.
Give me a minute.
But yeah, so I think that's awesome that he's going. Before we wrap it up for today.
Yeah, before we wrap up, I got one thing. Correction. Okay. I did look it up. I don't think they're related. For some reason, I saw that they were cousins, Ramos, the two, Tony and Ethan. I saw that they were cousins.
I think there's another Ramos somewhere, but maybe those two are cousins.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But, correction on that one. That's on me, guys. That just, quick glanced at something and, faulty information, fake news.
Yeah. All right. What's your most excited thing about WrestleMania that you want to see?
WrestleMania? Well...
Is there a particular match you want to see, or is it just the whole experience? Like, what's your...
Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. I want to see that because they had an awesome match in Japan that I saw. But one thing that I'm really looking forward to, and it's something that recently happened, Daniel Bryan, for those of y'all who don't... If you don't watch it...
Oh, that's right, yeah. He got reinstated.
He had his career ended about 2-3 years ago, which I was there the night he... Actually, the night before he had... when he got injured. He injured his neck, and they said he would never wrestle again. If he did, he could end up paralyzed. It was a very, very sad story, to the point where, he started getting cleared by other doctors, and he said that if they didn't clear him, he'd quit, and eventually they decided to finally clear him. So he's jumping back in the ring for the first time in like 2.5 years, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's kind of one of those like feel-good stories. It's like the little guy.
That's always been his gimmick, though. Like, as much as I hate to call it a gimmick, but that's been his gimmick.
It is his gimmick.
But that's his real life too, in a way. So, which is kind of cool. I don't know. I'm looking forward to watching it with Devin. It's always a fun thing. We end up watching it over a series of days because it's like a 5-hour event on a Sunday. They got school the next day, so we kind of space it out. And we'll watch this, and this. I don't know who. My big thing I want to see.
Undertaker might be there.
Yeah, that's kind of always want to see the surprise things. Who surprisingly shows up. I think that's always a fun deal.
Let's go off that real quick because we got a little bit before we have to go. What is the biggest thing that you're going to be looking forward to in as far as wrestling goes here recently?
No, you talking about the World Cup coming up and all that?
World Cup.
We got World Cup coming up.
Where DeSanto goes. What's your biggest thing you're looking forward to?
Dude, I just watch more wrestling. I want to watch Bill Farrell. That was just recently. That was some freestyle Greco stuff going on there. The World Cup, I want to see that because I also want to see who ends up trying out for the World Team Trials because there's a bunch of hammers out there now.
It's going to be so great.
That are trying to qualify for the U.S. Oh, and one of the biggest things, I don't know if it's on Facebook as much as it was Instagram, but you check it out. Kyle Snyder signed with Rudis, and I'm looking forward to seeing that merger. And he had a Punisher singlet on the other day, and it just looked awesome.
I might buy that.
Kyle Snyder in a Punisher singlet.
I might
that Rudis has got some stuff with Marvel going on, and I'm wondering will will you get a shoe, whatever, I'm like, dude, I'm just, as much as
Will
we
he get a
fan.
bag? If he gets a bag, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Pre-order.
Yeah, I've already got my Rudis bag in down here, but
Yeah.
like the Kyle Snyder Rudis bag or something like that,
Yeah.
that edition. So I'm looking forward to seeing what some of these guys coming out. Because wrestling's getting to that point where it's actually cool that people are signing and getting contracts and they're getting bigger names and shoe sponsors, that we're starting to hear about them more, which didn't happen years ago. So I'm just kind of excited to see where all of that goes as well. So I'm looking forward to all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, that's like you said. Kyle Snyder signing with Rudis it's a big deal. A lot of people think, athletes get endorsements all the time. For wrestling, it's not as
It is and it's not. It's not like it was.
surprising, yeah.
Like,
It's
it
not a
was like
surprise,
you used to get endorsements, but it
Yeah.
wasn't anything worth bragging
Yeah.
about. Now that wrestlers are finally getting
you're getting like shoe deals, like when you said
shoes,
Metcalf
apparel,
had his own shoe.
Yeah,
You
so,
had
it's finally getting better for wrestlers, and I think that's an awesome thing too. And so, as a former wrestler, wrestling coach, still into wrestling, obviously with our compound stuff, I want to support those guys and do all that too.
Absolutely.
So, all right, so check it out. More stuff to come. We'll get this all posted up a little bit later on this afternoon because we're about to roll up on out of here. I'll post real quick to Instagram, let everybody know our episode's coming for today. We'll call it just the spring break. Spring break
cast, I guess.
the spring break episode, just getting ready for a few things since, kind of hit on a lot of stuff. So our spring break episode, that was it for you guys. More stuff coming. I'm still checking out websites for store stuff to make it easier for everybody without us having to purchase everything, which we still might just place an order still too.
Yeah.
But trying to save money as well.
I can show you a cool app we can do that you can download on your phone here in a second. So.
Yeah, but hey, we're looking at doing stuff for you guys. Thanks. Hey, we're to that point now where it's actually like, follow, and leave us a review on stuff. Hit us up on the email. We got it all out there for you. So looking forward to good things. You guys enjoy the rest of your spring break. We'll see you when you get back. Find a way to wrestle 6 in there. All right.
Bye bye.